How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
And I'm Pratik Cherian.
And, man, we got a spoiler review for you guys today. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Full spoilers here, so
everything.
If you haven't seen the movie yet, check out our spoiler-free review that'll be up. But yeah, that's your warning. Let's get into it.
All right, we left some threads dangling from the spoiler-free review. What exactly did you not like about this in more detail?
Oh my gosh. I thought the plot was convenient at best and nonsensical at worst. And I think the moment that categorized it the most for me was when the Darkhold gets destroyed in I guess that's the middle of the movie, somewhere in there.
The first time it gets destroyed, or the
yeah, the first time it gets destroyed, and it's like, oh no, now what? And that was one of those things that I probably didn't see happening quite that early. And then it's like, oh, it's a copy. Actually, there's this whole other thing that's sitting there. It's like, oh, well, isn't that convenient?
First of all,
isn't that nice?
Pretty sure that whole Darkhold castle is from the comics. So be mad at Marvel for that.
No, it's Wundagore Mountain, but it's not which is where Wanda and Pietro are raised.
Is that big of a? Is that bad? How many religions are based on people having texts that are from something else?
The point is the movie again. It's not like it's offensive. It's just incredibly convenient with nothing before, and it's why is that in this movie? Because we need the movie to continue.
Are we talking about Mormonism, or are we talking about? Okay. I guess that definitely didn't bother me. If you want to say that, then yeah, sure. There's probably a bunch of little moments like that in this movie. It's not perfect. It's not tightly made, this movie, but
this movie is.
To say the plot is nonsensical, though, what is nonsensical about it? We saw what happened with Wanda and WandaVision. At the end of it, she's looking for her kids. We speculated. Yeah. That is what she's doing. She's searching other multiverses. She found a way to get them, a la America Chavez, and she's pursuing it. And the Darkhold is corrupting her. I feel like it's not that hard to gather what's going on.
I didn't say it's difficult to grasp. I said,
but to say it's nonsensical, though, more nonsensical than a big purple grimace gathering jelly beans and putting them in his hand to snap away half of the universe. It's not. That's way more nonsensical.
But they spent a lot of time establishing that as the rules of the universe, And so when you get to those moments, is it sense or is it nonsense?
Well, okay, Dr. Harrow. Anyway, I would say that. A witch that we've already established that witches and sorcery and witchcraft are in this universe. Yeah. That's not that nonsensical as far as the Darkhold being destroyed and there being another way to it. Maybe Wong gave up too easily, but I felt like that's where this movie thrived, where it cut out the dead weight.
Also. Towards the end, around that whole Darkhold thing. So Wanda destroys the mountain fortress, and it magically destroys every Darkhold in the multiverse.
I think we can just assume Wanda's powerful enough to just do it.
Sure.
Unless you want to say
powerful enough to affect things in the multiverse without actually being it. The whole point is she is trying to get into the multiverse, and she can send demons into the multiverse, and apparently she can destroy things throughout the multiverse.
How did they destroy the Darkhold the first time?
They the book?
Yeah.
They just stabbed it with a knife.
But not in her universe, in a different universe, right?
No, it was in hers.
Was it in her? Oh, yeah. Right. It was that sorcerer.
Yeah.
Which, one gripe about this movie. All of the Kamartaj people are pretty much nameless faces. Just who cares?
Also, do they never learn a single offensive spell ever? It's oh, hey, we're under attack. Should we fight back? No, let's just keep the shields up.
But what else could they do? All they do is the shield thing. That's all they. That's all sorcerers do.
If you told me that I was watching a movie where the Scarlet Witch comes in with all of her power and battles an entire fortress worth of sorcerers, did I think that I was just going to see the one shield spell?
I wish that it was a bit more than Wanda just shooting lasers at people. I get it, and the shield's deflecting it, but how much can you really do?
It just felt a little and that's the thing, especially contrasted later on, we have this fight between the two Doctor Stranges with like the musical notes going back and forth. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I would have liked, like, it just felt like...
You're talking about the Fantasia sequence?
Yeah, a little bit. But like, I thought that was cool. Like, I liked it. It was creative. It was inventive. It was
but
different.
you got to build up to that. If you can't like guns blazing. I mean, especially when this movie opened with such a like gigantic scene. Yes, we don't see them doing any crazy magic, but like the background is crazy. And I think they're all right. Let's give this was like the bit of rest, the calm before the storm. But yet I can't argue. I do wish that we would have seen Wanda go a little. But there's even narrative purpose for that because she says she was going easy on them or whatever she says. Like that was me being like reasonable.
Well, yeah, like before in the very very beginning.
Yeah.
But like when she's attacking Kamar-Taj, like that's not her being reasonable anymore necessarily.
But I mean, because Strange even says that like her being unreasonable is her doing the shadow walking or whatever, the sleepwalking thing. So I think we can assume she's still being kind of reasonable. Even at the end of the movie, she doesn't see herself as a monster. She realizes she's being corrupt,
which is one of the best things.
Yeah,
I think. But I don't know.
Let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about here. Bruce Campbell. What'd you think of his cameo?
It was funny.
It was funny. Maybe don't wait for the post-credit scene. But it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
This or the Steve Rogers cameo at the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
I felt like
because they're kind of in the same vein.
I felt like the credits for Homecoming were way longer or something. Because when it got to that Steve Rogers one, it was like that was more. I think that was more clever.
That was more clever. I thought it was funny.
This was definitely more Sam Raimi, even if it wasn't Bruce Campbell. Just the looking in the camera. We got a couple of shots like that. When Wanda looked in the camera, that got me. How'd you feel about Wanda?
So one of my fears going into this was that they were just going to make her a paint by numbers, one note villain. And can I say that they didn't do that? No, but I would say I was surprised. My expectations were the floor and they exceeded my expectations, not by much, but over it. So yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It was acceptable. I think if I was like, if I wanted to like write a think piece about it, I definitely could, but it's fine. It was fine.
And I could agree with that. It wasn't the like Oscar winning or Oscar like worthy performance we got in WandaVision from her.
I almost wonder if, so I was rewatching WandaVision in preparation for this, and I almost wonder if that didn't skew it, because like as I'm watching it, Elizabeth Olsen is great in this, and like you still see it, like she's still bringing it as an actress.
You know what's funny about this is I feel like when we were watching WandaVision, both of us were like, oh, she could be such a badass villain. I really want her to be this badass villain. And I think we got that. She was like Maleficent level. Like, she looked good. Like,
she looked really good. There were moments, like, especially when
I say looked good, like, even, like, her acting was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I still felt for her, even though the audience knows that what she's doing is wrong, we almost are rooting for her in a way. We want it to work out for everybody, right? Like, and I think that was really cool. Like, if I asked you who's the definitive villain of this movie, it is Wanda, but she's not even like she believes what she's doing. I guess she knows it's wrong, but like,
I mean, she feels like also like at this point that's every villain. That's every villain though.
But like, she feels like there's a way. Like, she even tells Steven, she's like, I can put you with your Christine. Like, I can make this right for everybody. We can all be happy. Like. It's when
then later on, she's like, "What I'm supposed to do is rule everything." It's like,
well, she does say she's like, "I'm supposed to rule everything. I don't even want that. I'm letting you guys off easy," which she's not wrong. Like, she's right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if Agatha's right about this, you know.
I'll say this in regards to Elizabeth Olsen and even Benedict Cumberbatch. Their acting is great. This is the first time that I've watched a Marvel movie, and I'm like, these guys are kind of slumming it a little bit. Like, I thought that their acting was way better than the quality of the movie overall. Like, the performances they brought were like
I'll say
9s and 10s, and the movie is much lower than that.
I won't say the movie is lower. I'll say the dialogue they were given, they made it work. I don't know if lesser actors would have made this movie work as well. That being said, I feel like I can't dock this movie like for anything really, because I feel like it just passed every bar for me. Like, I guess this movie did like pretty much everything I wanted it to do. I'm a little confused on if Wanda's alive. You don't see her body, so she probably is. What do you think about that?
Yeah, she's probably alive.
She's probably alive? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any comic precedence to this?
I don't care. You know, the movie didn't think about it, so neither will I. How about that?
When she like got on her knees, I thought we were gonna have like a No More Mutants moment, but then I thought to myself, like, that would make no sense right here, like narratively. So I'm glad they didn't. But
speaking of, is the character dead or not? When she like threw Wong off of the ledge. Was there even like a 1% chance you thought he was dead?
No, as soon as like you don't see his body, I'm like, oh, okay. When they cut back to him and he's alive, I'm like, they better have a reason for him being alive. But I guess magic. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. Whatever.
Sure, yeah, you know.
Oh, one thing. Speaking of Sorcerer Supreme, I figured by the end of this movie, Doctor Strange would be Sorcerer Supreme again. Do we think they're saving that for the third movie? # bye bye Wong.
Who knows? I kind of think no, because he's doing such a good job in the role. And I feel like at this point, and kind of the way they have him popping up in all of the other Marvel movies, like he's the Nick Fury of this phase. I feel like they need a bigger reason to get rid of him if they're going to.
How many has he popped in now? Because I think after 3 movies, you have to have a pay increase, right? As an actor, isn't that true? I think that's SAG. Someone who knows mentioned in the comments, but I think SAG rules after 3 appearances as the same character, you start getting paid a lot more.
Okay.
So maybe I'm wrong about that, and he's definitely had more than 3 appearances.
So you're saying
they're gonna kill him off? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and unless there's a way for him to like renounce his power and give it to Strange. Which, speaking of Wong's power, I did want a scene in this where Wong was just like going crazy, like using all his power. He's Sorcerer Supreme. We see him doing like the most like bounce pass moves. Like it's just a lot of like assists and stuff. Not a lot of like Wong being Wong. You know.
I get you. I think overall the magic in this was fairly underwhelming.
The coolest thing for me, magic-wise, was when Wanda like turns Mr. Fantastic into string. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But you're right though. I feel like there wasn't anything like Sam. When I hear Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and you see the trailers and you see them jumping through multiverses and like everything crazy cool. You know what I like? I liked when they were going through the universes and they turned into paint. Yeah, that was cool.
That sequence,
I wanted more of that though.
That sequence kind of reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse. Actually, like a little bit. I thought it was cool.
It reminded me of the not the season finale, but the penultimate episode of What If, was
that the one I hated or the
that's
one I hated more?
Okay. That's the one you hated. The finale we agreed wasn't that great, but the semi-finale was incredible, I thought. And I really feel like what I got from that, I got from this. Like, yes, there's not that much depth. Yes, Vision's just kind of going around destroying stuff, but it was cool and it showed the power of character like this. And I liked Wanda doing that.
That kind of brings up something I was thinking about. So Marvel kept talking a lot before this movie came out about like them doing horror. Mm-hmm. Did you get any of that? Like,
so okay, based on the reviews for this, everyone's like, "Oh, don't bring your kids to this. It's scary." I think it's scary enough, but as someone who has been watching horror movies like from a kid, there's little tropes, even from like the ding, from like the certain piano keys and stuff. Yeah. There's tropes that even like you see in Evil Dead and other Sam Raimi movies. Yeah. I don't think it's that the most grotesque thing in this is when the eyeball monster gets his eyeball cut off.
I thought it was when Black Bolt got his head like blown off.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that scene.
But it's all in his head. You don't see it.
But it's like it's not horror. It's more like it's a little bit more like violence and gore. But like
I did like that Black Bolt bit. That was really funny.
It was cool.
It was cool.
What do you think was scary? Like, what do you think was closer to horror, this or Shazam? Because there were that moment where like the monster showed up.
That did remind me of Shazam. It did.
I was like, oh, this is Shazam, and then I'm like, oh, I'm insulting Shazam by thinking that. I'm sorry.
Okay,
my bad.
First of all, I love Shazam, so I'm not gonna dock it. And you rarely talk good about it, so I'm just gonna let you do this. But I did feel a bit of Shazam in there. Yeah. You know what? That's actually good. That's actually a good contrast. I felt like Shazam was very similar in tone. Like at least the dark parts. That's how most of this movie's dark scenes were. Just as dark as Shazam. Like if you would have told me Scott Derrickson did Shazam, I would believe you. Who did Shazam?
I don't know.
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah.
Anyway, what did we think about the Illuminati?
They were fine.
Fine. You liked all of them?
Yeah. No complaints really.
I guess I would have liked to see a bit of a longer fight because like that seems like that's the centerpiece of the movie for me. Like, or it should have been. If it's not them going through the different universes, it would be the Illuminati and Wanda just destroying them. And maybe it's because like we all kind of just assumed Wanda was gonna go in there and kill everybody because she's Wanda, and like the Illuminati's like, especially when I saw who they were using, they're not that powerful. Like, I did like that we got to see what's his name, Black Bolt, use his powers. Yeah, I never watched Inhumans, so I've always just heard about like if he whispers, a mountain will explode or something. Yeah. So like we could see him kill a version of Doctor Strange. That was cool. How'd you feel about the Illuminati like gaslighting the world or whatever? Like, what's up with the Marvel Universe?
That's kind of what they do. Like, that's their whole thing.
Sure, but what is with the Marvel Universe? I mean, I guess in the real world of just like every like group of leaders is corrupt. Like, and maybe they're not corrupt per se, but they're shady. So
yep, just the Marvel universe.
Just
nowhere
the Marvel
else.
universe. Yeah, this
nowhere else at all.
This is why he only likes DC. Because are we thinking John Krasinski's going to be our Mr. Fantastic?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either. I feel like it was such a small role.
It was such a small role, and I don't think there was anything that happened in this movie where I was like, they have to bring him back as Mr. Fantastic.
I wish we could have at least seen him do something. He doesn't even I feel like Marvel really doesn't even know. They haven't perfected how they're going to do their stretching CG. And they're like, well, let's just have him stretch into frame. That's enough. Right?
While we're on the subject, what did you think about the whole idea of incursions?
I feel like they didn't really do enough with them.
Okay.
We saw a plan or a universe being deteriorating or whatever, but I feel like we could have seen more an example of one of the planets or one of the universes kind of being encouraged or however. How'd you feel about it?
I thought that it was one of those instances of Marvel setting the stage. And when I think incursion, especially in relation to Illuminati, there was a Jonathan Hickman run on the Avengers a while back that dealt with incursions and its two universes smashing together. And that's what they used to then lead into their most recent Secret Wars story, which then they kind of sort of used to soft reboot their universe. And so I almost wondered if they weren't planting the seeds and planting the ideas to tee up Secret Wars later on. If they're not going to skew closer to the most recent one as opposed to the one everyone thinks of, like the first one.
Well, ever since I saw Eternals, I felt like with the post-credit scene of Eternals, I guess spoilers for Eternals, or not even the post-credit. Is it the post-credit when Arsham's like, all right, well, if you believe this world is worthy, then you'll be judged or whatever. And I felt like, oh, Arsham can be the judge for Secret Wars. He could throw everybody on Battle World and do this, right?
Yeah.
So look, and we had both heard rumors that there were supposed to be a lot more cameos in this, and there was going to be a lot more stuff in this that did get cut out. And maybe they are saving that for Secret Wars. So I'm not mad at them if that's the case, because I feel like this movie had enough. And I like how they handled the cameos. And the story of this movie is why I really liked it. Maybe it didn't have the best dialogue. Maybe it did, but I loved the characters. And maybe it's because I had already loved these characters from prior events and prior knowledge. But I feel like it handled it pretty well. Maybe this isn't supposed to be your first Marvel movie. But I think if it is, you'll still have fun with it. Anything you want to, any other gripes you got?
I could go nitty gritty in this, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the CinemaSins on this one. So, and I don't even like CinemaSins, but I'm waiting for it.
I used to love CinemaSins. I was watching the one he did on No Way Home, and I was like, okay, you're getting way too nitpicky now on these things.
The CinemaSins for this one, my feeling is if he actually wants to do it the way he does it with everything else, he's just gonna have to play the whole movie. And he's not gonna be able to.
So
do
if
that.
you want to watch this movie, just stay tuned and watch it on CinemaSins.
Do we want to talk about the post-credit before we score it?
Oh god, I almost forgot. Yeah. Kind of. These were probably some of the most nothing post-credit scenes ever. It could have just been the end of the movie, honestly. When I was gonna say shows up. Charlize Theron. Hey.
Yeah, that's cool. Good. We get Clea, which is Doctor Strange.
When she showed up, I thought she looked like is it Medusa, the Inhuman? There's an Inhuman that's wears purple and that looks like that.
Yeah, but doesn't look like that at all.
Hey, look, that's
I'll
what
throw
I
a picture up there.
I wish they would have if she would have said her name or something, because who's she supposed to be? I heard she was playing Clea.
Yeah, so she is, and Clea in the comics is Doctor Strange's wife, and spoilers for a very recent comic book arc, but becomes Sorcerer Supreme. But also, and I think the thing where I was kind of sitting there going, who's that supposed to be? And then when she uses her knife to open up the dimension,
is that a staple?
Well, you could. No, but you could see the dark dimension behind it, and she's from the dark dimension.
I thought for a split second we were going to see Dormammu, because is that the same? Is that where he lives?
Yeah,
that's his crib.
Yes,
All right,
yeah,
cool, awesome.
Yeah. So and that kind of I'm interested in that dynamic.
Okay.
I will say this: I thought the way the movie ended, not kind of going back just a little bit.
Sure.
I thought the way the movie ended was weird in that they almost left it open-ended, and then the first post-credit scene starts and it's the thing that just happened didn't happen, and it just felt weird, a very weird place to end it.
Yeah, I feel like maybe why would they even show the third eye?
Yeah.
Getting the third eye. You know what kind of reminded me of is what's the movie? Sorry to Bother You, when he just the reveal of him, he just falls over and then has it. I was like, oh crap, that's cool.
Spoilers for that movie too,
sorry.
I guess.
Spoilers for Sorry to Bother You. I guess the ending of the movie is definitely the weakest part for me, I would say. But by that point, I was satisfied.
By that point, I was out already. So what's one more? All right, you want to score it and get out of here?
Before we do, I want to get more into Professor X because we didn't talk about him.
Okay, all right.
You hear a little.
You hear the theme from the '90s X-Men. Yes.
It was incredible.
Sure, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Did you like the little mind battle he had with Wanda? I felt like there could have been a bit more.
I didn't mind it. It was kind of reminiscent of some other things I've seen, and it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah,
no
I thought it was
complaints.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
Gave him something to do. He got to walk around a little, so
that was cool. Yeah. I did think he looked like when they first show him in the chair, he kind of looked like a baby in one of those like.
He looked super old.
He does look old. I thought they were gonna CG. I was, but that's me. I was fully expecting them to CG his face down a bit, but I guess they used all that money on No Way Home.
Yeah.
All
right. You want to score it?
I'm thinking 9. I'm thinking 9. Because
are you insane?
I can't dock this movie like too much for anything. It wasn't offensive. I think this movie.
Listen,
checked all the boxes
not offensive doesn't get you all the way up to a 9.
All
9 is almost perfect.
It is almost perfect for me. What are my big issues? That Wanda could have used her powers more creatively. That we could have seen a bit more creativity with some of the action sequences. That the characters could have been a little bit more fleshed out. I already like these characters, so for me, it's a 9. I could definitely see people not liking this movie, but I'm gonna give it a 9. Oh my god, Braddock, give it your 0. Let's get out of here.
I'm so blown away.
This is my favorite Phase 4 movie, other than No Way Home.
Okay, this is the first time that I've watched a Marvel movie and felt dumber walking out of the theater. The last time I felt this way was when we watched that Halloween movie. Was that Halloween Kills?
Oh god.
So
don't even put that.
In light of that, I'm giving this one a 3.
God.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to watch. Maybe we need to watch Halloween Kills first. Didn't you give that like a 5?
I lost enough brain cells already. Please.
I think we both gave Halloween Kills a 0. Actually,
I'm gonna have to go read a book.
Yeah. God. Yeah.
All right. You want to take us out?
Yeah, guys. Well, stay tuned. We've got what movies coming up? Nothing, right?
Well, we're taking a hiatus.
A little bit of hiatus because this guy, congrats, getting married.
So so I'll be a little busy. So taking a tiny hiatus, but we'll be back with Obi-Wan.
We got Miss Marvel coming up, which I'm excited for. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you then.
See you guys.